Hi guys, my name is Wyatt Buhr.
And I'm Jack Smith, and we will be watching a scene from the movie 1917, directed by Sam Mendes.
All right. So like Jack said, we're going to be presenting on a scene on 1917. A little bit background information. This took place during World War One, approximately the year 1917, hence the name 1917. Directed by and produced by Sam Mendes, written by Mendes and Christy Wilson Carnes. And this story was inspired by Mendes' stories told by his grandfather and about serving World War One, and a little more background information. The German army is not in retreat, but has made a strategic withdrawal to the new Hindenburg Line, where they are waiting to overwhelm the British with artillery in the British trenches. Two young British Lance Corporals, William Schofield and Tom Blake, are ordered to carry messages to Colonel Mackenzie to set off the attack, or to jeopardize the attack of losing 600 oh my gosh, 1,600 men, including Blake's brother. And Schofield, this is the scene we're going to show you here in a minute. Schofield tries to reach Colonel Max Mackenzie, realizing that the trenches are too crowded for him to make it to Mackenzie in time. Schofield goes over the top, sprints on the open battlefield parallel to the British trench line just as the infantry begins its charge. He forces his way into the meet Mackenzie, who reads the message and calls off the attack. So one of the many things we're going to be talking about is just what goes on in the scene and what makes it unique. And the first thing we're going to talk about is camera angle and movement. There's nothing fancy really going on with the camera angle. It's just pretty much straight ahead on top on Mackenzie as he's running. Um, but what makes this scene unique is how the camera is moving with him as he's running, and this adds the element of being there and making the scene more intense and real for the audience. And yeah.
And then the next thing that we'll talk about is the sound design. So the soundtrack that they put with this scene, it matches it very well. This is because the intensity of the soundtrack just goes very well with the visuals, with the whole war scene and the explosions. And as the scene goes on, the sound intensifies, and the sound gives off signs of bravery and intensity. And this is because the sound is upbeat, and like I said, as the scene goes on, it becomes more loud and intense.
All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is lighting. Nothing too complicated or special again, but it's definitely not a bright scene. You see some dark colors, and it takes place during the day, so there's not much extra light going on. But you see like dark colors, gray, misty, smoke. like war kind of colors. So the lighting doesn't have much effect on it, just making it more real for the scene. And yeah.
And the next thing that we'll be talking about is the symbolism that can be seen in the scene. So symbolism can be seen through the lighting, sound design, and camera angles. The dark lighting symbolizes bleak and depressing attributes that can be seen during a war movie. And then the soundtrack symbolizes the bravery and courageousness of the character as he runs through the battlefield. And then the camera angle symbolizes daunting and the menacing feeling of the scene, just because it just gives off the panning away, and you can see all the explosions and the soldiers dying running behind him.
All right, the next thing we're talking about is our literary connection. So after doing some research, me and Jack, and watching the movie, we found out there's a ton of work being done to make these movies happen. Especially war movies, because you want to make all the battle scenes and like all the bloody scenes, all that stuff realistic, and you want to make it look real. Especially the battle scenes, because there's so many things going on. There's bombs being dropped. There's guns being fired in trenches. And in this movie, what makes it special is the movie crew dug a 2 mile trench. They actually dug a 2 mile trench to make this happen for one of their battle scenes, which I thought was pretty cool and a lot of hard work. And without these drastic efforts to make these war scenes look real, I mean, they wouldn't be as popular as they are today. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see like a war movie like this at the movie theaters, it just kind of like opens my jaw, and I'm like, holy cow, that looks real. But yeah.
And then in conclusion, it was a great movie through and through, not just the scene that we showed you guys. It has a lot to offer with like there's a lot of cinematic scenes like the one we just showed you. There's a lot of analysis that you can take from it, but like the ones that we just said, through lighting, sound design, camera angles, and symbolism, there's a lot you can take away and interpret. It's not just so straightforward all the time, and we really recommend watching this movie. And we really hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed. See you guys.